Tonight's game, again, marks the culmination of 50 years at the Final Four. While there have been many heroes during that span, one man clearly stands alone. He is John Wooden, the former coach of UCLA, who won an incredible 10 titles in 12 years. Last week, I visited with Coach Wooden at his Los Angeles home and talked to him about the values which made him a legend. It was clear to me that for all he achieved, John Wooden never lost his sense of perspective.
This crowd on earth, they soon forget the heroes of the past. They cheer like mad until you fall, and that's how long you last.
No one will ever forget John Wooden's record, but for all of his accomplishments, the coach's formula for success was a very simple one.
I don't believe you can find a player that ever played for me that ever heard me mention winning. Now, I didn't mean that I didn't want to win in the general sense of winning as much as anybody else, but I thought that could be accomplished better by, instead of concentrating on the opponent, concentrate on yourself. Try to do the best you can do. And if you do that, that's winning.
I remember him asking the question, who finished second 2 years ago? And no one could remember. And then he said, no one remembers who finishes second.
While Coach Wooden stressed the importance of education to his players, when it came to college basketball, this teacher was set in his ways.
I told a superstar one time who told me he wasn't going to shave, and I asked him if he believed very strongly in that, and he said yes. And I said, well, I believe that people should stick up for the things in which they believe, and I respect you for that. But I stick up for the things in which I believe, too, and I'm going to miss you, and the team will miss you, but you won't lose our respect for sticking up for what you believe. And he said, I'll shave, and he did, and there's no more problem.
The players might have let their hair down after leaving UCLA. Still, the coach retained their respect.
He was just such an inspirational person to me and to the rest of the men on the team that we loved being around him every day. It was one of his key tenets was to always make it fun.
I have a very clear image of him as a very concerned person who really tried to help people in their transition from adolescence to adulthood, and on top of that, he was a great basketball mind.
At age 77, Wooden remains healthy and active and still takes a daily 5-mile walk. He follows the game of basketball but has not attended the Final Four recently.
I went to some 35 or 36, I'm not sure which, Final Fours and conventions with my wife. And I lost her 3 years ago, and I haven't been to one since. I've never been to one without her, and I probably never will go to one without her, although maybe I shouldn't say that.
John Wooden was in Kansas City this past week for a banquet honoring the tournament's first 50 years. He left, however, before the games began. Although it's been over a half-century since he last played and more than a decade since he last coached, there's nothing out of date about this man. Watching an overflow crowd take in the practice sessions before this year's Final Four, it occurred to me that someday a new generation will ask, just who was John Wooden and how did he manage to win all those championships? The answer will be John Wooden personified excellence. He demonstrated how one could achieve success and obtain the pinnacle of his profession through a combination of hard work, perseverance, and faith. May those values continue in the game he loves forever.